Hi there, Dr. Najawan again. And right out of the gates, we're going to have a difficult conversation. So, the theme of this little video is the concept of psychological safety and feedback tolerance. Now, one of the biggest things that we'll teach you with this program is that the most important thing you can do in this life to build higher brain dominance, as we talked about in the previous video in the intro, is to increase your exposure, paradoxically, to as many dimensions of discomfort as possible. Emotional discomfort, meaning being triggered and going lower brain. Intellectual discomfort, meaning not understanding a concept, or maybe not feeling as smart as the person next to you. Um, Performance, accountability, discomfort, like measuring how well you're doing in whatever you want to be better at, being a leader, being a parent, being a significant other, doesn't matter what it is. You can actually assess in different ways how well you're doing. Do you have the courage to take on that discomfort and take that feedback? It can be physical discomfort, it can be relationship discomfort. All dimensions of discomfort guarantee exposing different facets of your lower brain, your ego, and then force you, if you choose, to build counteracting neural networks in your higher brain that can handle this activation and progressively increase your capacity for discomfort tolerance and feedback tolerance. That those are the keys to the kingdom. Because as you increase your tolerance for discomfort of all dimensions, you become progressively more fearless creatively. And I define creatively very broadly: relationships improving, innovation, improving skills, knowledge, understanding, self-awareness, and growth. Everything is creative, meaning building and making better. So increasing this discomfort tolerance by expanding different parts of your higher brain will make your life more and more rich, you'll be more excellent at what you choose to be excellent at, more successful, better connected, deeper relationships based on authenticity and vulnerability, and just broadly more happy because you'll be more peaceful, you'll be more joyful, you'll be more connected and loving. Life becomes very rich. In that spirit, I got some feedback from my team, including my daughter, saying that a video that I did, which I did, I think, on October 15th, approximately, intro to Dr. Najawan and the Leo program, I got criticized for mentioning that I am wealthy and so I'm not doing this for money. And so I appreciate the feedback, and this is important to role model that my team is obviously psychologically safe enough in our relationships that they can give me that feedback. I have developed enough internal psychological safety to tolerate lots of feedback and acknowledge all the mistakes that I have made in this life and continue to make. And that's okay. Make the adjustments, but also continue to have the dialogue. Why did I talk about that? It was, again, the effort was to build trust. To me, frankly, I do not care about my successes in this life. I think success is based on a lot of luck. And I think what I'm trying to convey to you is that pride is a waste of time, and in fact gets in the way of discomfort tolerance. Once you start to feel good about yourself, it doesn't mean you can't feel good about life, but starting to feel good about yourself in terms of your feeling a sense of success is a lower brain self-esteem. That's different than the higher brain of fulfillment. I feel creatively joyful. I feel full because I'm learning, growing, connecting, etc. Or another part of the higher brain, self-efficacy, meaning I feel peaceful because I feel adaptable. I can tolerate discomfort. I can tolerate feedback. I can make adjustments. I'm adaptable. That makes me more peaceful. So there's a peaceful aspect of self-esteem and a joyful and fulfilled aspect of self-esteem and a connected aspect of self-esteem. But the dominant self-esteem is how good you feel about yourself relative to others when it comes to talent, intelligence, success, money, looks, doesn't matter. And we absolutely hate being less than others. That's a lower brain Neanderthal dynamic from the last 4 million years, and I'm going to encourage you to get rid of it. So why I brought up the wealth idea, I needed to provide more context. So thank you for the feedback team. That I don't care about success. To me, I just want to continue to be creative and joyful and become more higher brain dominant. Life is endlessly rich. There's a concept called arrival fallacy that if you arrive, you get there, you get the success, you get the money, you get the titles. It does not produce sustainable happiness. It's disappointing. It doesn't last very long. Then you're trying to hold on to it, and then you become more discomfort intolerant. So my point about my motivation to build trust with you is I'm not motivated by the fame. I'm not motivated by the money. I'm motivated by the beauty of empowering you, but also role modeling, not caring so much about success other than as a feedback mechanism for what's working and not working and how I can get better. So I think it is important to have benchmarks for performance, but not so I can feel great about myself because of what a great success I am. That's a trap of the lower brain. And so that was my point about the being wealthy enough that the money is not a factor. My point about success also is that there are a lot of luck factors. A lot of things were handed to me or handed to anybody who's been successful. In certain amount of IQ may have been handed, certain amount of confidence may have been handed to you, certain amount of great coaching. There are so many things that successful people got handed to them that the idea of owning and feeling good about your success to me does not make sense. And if you are not, if you've been struggling and struggling with relationships and personal growth and how good you feel about yourself and struggling with learning and skill building, you should not beat yourself up because you had a lot of unlucky factors that went against you. But you should push ahead knowing that you can keep building neural networks to increase your tolerance for feedback and keep getting better piece by piece. On a 0 to 100 scale, 100 may be really higher brain dominant and enlightened, and 0 may be completely hedonistic and narcissistic and completely avoidant of discomfort. If you're on at a 5 or a 10, it's because you were traumatized in this lifetime, combined with the particular biology that you have. Your game is to go from 5 to 10 or 10 to 15. Somebody else's game, maybe they got lucky and they're at an 80. But to me, the 80 is not better than the 10. They were handed the 80. Their game is now to go from an 80 to an 85. That's their game. What happens to human beings that make it to a certain level of success? They start feeling good about themselves and they stop pushing higher. And they don't realize that that leads to boredom, depression, addiction, anxiety, because they stop pumping up the higher networks that can tolerate discomfort, feedback, adaptability, and they go downhill, even though they're at a higher level. So that's the point I was making about the wealth comment, is that I don't have any pride about outcomes and success. I think a lot of it is luck, and if not all of it is luck. And so I think it's important to get pride out of the way to push forward in life and stay exhilarated and fulfilled and connected. Okay, so thanks for the feedback, team. And sorry for what came across as potentially a condescending comment about wealth. I should have, I thank you for letting me expand on that a little bit further. Okay, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.